quorum. Oh, do we have a quorum?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good morning. I'd like to call to order the Board of Operations Performance Committee meeting. Today is Monday, April the 6th. I would like to do roll call, please. Kelly?
City of Carmel by the feet. City of Gonzales.
Yes, here.
City of King City. City of Marina.
Here.
City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of Salinas.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Moving on to public comments on matters not on the agenda. Members of the public may address the committee on any matter related to the jurisdiction of MST, but not on the agenda. There's a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker. It's two? No, it's 3. The committee will not take action or respond immediately to any public comments presented, but may choose to follow up at a later time, either individually through staff or on a subsequent agenda. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to the committee? Seeing none in chambers, do I see anyone online? I do not. Okay, last call for public comment. I will now close public comment and move on to the consent agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda?
Yep.
All right.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have moved to
I'll second.
and second from Elizabeth. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Okay, very good. Moving on to item number 4, which is action items. 4.1, review of operations performance, and this is Mr. Sidorik.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we had another month of increases. I don't know, we're going on a couple of years in a row now, month-to-month increases. 49% plus increase in ridership since we started the Better Bus Network. So that's in contrast to what we're hearing from some of our peers around the country, of which we hosted slightly over 100 public transit CEOs from all around the country. We're here in Monterey. Got to experience a tour of our Surf bus BRT and our contactless payment system and our zero emission buses. These included CEOs from New York MTA, from Canada, Vancouver, Seattle, and LA, but not to be outdone, we also had Moline, Indiana, and Shreveport, Louisiana, and it was, Milwaukee, trans operators, big, medium, small, were here to see what we did. So that was great for us to do. We noted in this report that we're using an alternative data source for on-time performance because we had a little bit too much good news in the report, and I drew a question out of it. And so it looks like starting in January, we suddenly started reporting things like 98% plus on-time performance on like the Line 20, which we just know that's not the case. So we have been doing some upgrades to some of our communication systems. I'm thinking that something got switched as far as a factor within the system that determines on-time performance. We're using our automated passenger counters, which also track on-time performance. So if we find any data that needs to be restated as a result of this, we will update it in the monthly reports. But using the alternative source, we're showing 86% on-time performance, which is where we expect it to be, not much higher than that. The MST Rides program continues also to have good on-time performance and growing ridership. I guess something else to see is if you go to page 56 of the monthly report on the open positions report, you see that we're well suited with coach operators. Actually more than we have in the budget, but there's that's okay because we always have folks who retire without notice, so we're well suited there. And we seem to have turned the corner on that. And let's see. The only other thing perhaps to note is the fair payments by the tap to pay is hovering around 15% now of all boardings are using tap to pay. And MST received 3 bids back on a proposal. We are leading a 10-county consortium of transit operators around the state to implement a self, what would we call it? Our own tap to pay card. So it would be an MST card that a passenger who maybe cannot get or does not want to get a bank card of their own, they could use a MST branded card that will be read by the same validators. Significantly less cost to that than using our traditional bank cards. And we have Humboldt County, Nevada County in the Sierra Nevadas, Stanislaus County in the San Joaquin Valley, San Francisco MTA for parking only, but a significant amount of transactions. So that helps us keep our transaction costs lower on this. Then a whole slew of Central Coast, Santa Cruz, Monterey Salinas Transit, of course, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, Ventura County are all part of this, and as well as Riverside County in the Inland Empire. So those cards would have the ability to be interchangeable. So if you put data value on your card in Monterey and you wanted to take a trip in Santa Cruz, you could do that. Or if you wanted to take a trip in Humboldt or Nevada. And we're hoping that we're going to be, as we do this, more transit agencies around the state will participate in that. This is outside of the Clipper. All these agencies are outside of the Clipper card or the LA TAP card because they've invested billions of dollars into their system that still doesn't work. We're bypassing those systems and doing something that's a leapfrog of technology ahead on them. So that concludes our administrative update.
That's a great, I think that is such a good idea because there are people, many people that don't want to use their regular bank cards. They would prefer to keep everything into one area. So I think that's great.
Yeah, we have our passengers, you know, the ones that we've talked to, it's more anecdotal data, but we've asked them, they come in with their own debit or credit card and they'll buy one of our passes with their credit card. Well, why don't you tap to pay? And it's because, well, I know I have the money now.
Exactly.
I might not have the money. They're on such a margin of budget. So this would allow them to put the money on another card that's a lot less expensive for us to maintain and to purchase from the fare box, and will allow us to, you know, slowly move away from even using the fare boxes on our buses, hopefully in the next year or so. So that's the goal to initially bring ridership up on that.
Excellent, excellent. Anyone have any comments? Yeah, Tony?
Mr. Sidori, you
Yeah.
mentioned is 86%, is that the average for on time, you said?
That's within 5 minutes of bus time arrival on average.
5 minutes?
Yeah, 0 to 5 minutes of when we say we're going to be there.
Just out of curiosity, any idea where we get the most pickup, you know, where we?
Oh, yeah, we actually have a report in your monthly report on page. You should be able to see, and that's where I found the error. That's where I found the problem. I look at that every month, and I have to admit, on the January, I missed it in January because it looked like, oh wow, good news, we did so well. And then I saw 2 months of good news in a row. And I said, I can't do it. And sure enough, we think there's a problem. Let's see. There is a report that shows the on-time performance. I would say the line 59 to Gilroy and the line 24 to Carmel Valley, because they're most impacted by traffic, tend to be the excuse me?
Page 14.
Page 14, thank you. There we go, right there. So page 14, you see the on-time passenger departures. And Oh, line 96, the Salinas, that's one of the, Measure Q. Those just kind of meanders around through Salinas, the 59, as I was right. And the 77 or the 31 in Gonzales, but this is February results. That was before our service change. And so I think by taking that industrial park out of the route, you'll probably see an improvement on that.
Yeah.
So but you'll see on our heaviest used routes, 88% for Salinas for the 41 and 84% for the 20. So we really want to make certain that we're on time for our most traveled.
Yeah.
Not that every trip isn't important, but if I had to choose,
Yeah.
I'd rather have the 40 plus people on the bus be on time than 5 people
Yeah.
on the bus. So we try to make them all on time, but we really focus on the high productivity routes.
I do have a
Yes,
question. So, are wheelchairs being counted in any way or not? Or is it minimal, the influence of that? Because that takes extra time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So there are routes and we try to build that in to our schedules. I believe it's our line, let's see, line 43 that serves North Salinas. Yeah, 84 point at Salinas Valley Medical. That has a lot of wheelchair access issues but we try to build that into the schedule for sure.
Okay. But even any line, I mean, I don't take the bus a lot, but I've seen wheelchairs pretty regularly.
Yeah, and we've actually
yeah.
changed some of the equipment out. We used to have what were called over-the-road coaches for our long-distance routes. Those were kind of like the tall Greyhound style buses. And those took a particularly long time to load a wheelchair on board a bus. Would really delay the bus. It would take 5 minutes to load a wheelchair on. And so we no longer use those style of buses. And we're able to keep our on-time performance a little bit better.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? I'd like to open this up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that has any questions or comments about this item? Seeing none in chamber, seeing none online, I'll close public comment. All right, let's move on to item number 4.2, receive presentation on Salinas Lot 12 construction impacts to Salinas Transit Center. And this is Marzette. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. I'm Marzette Henderson. I am the transportation manager at MST. And I am here to present an overview of the Salinas Lot 12 construction project that's scheduled to break ground later this summer in Salinas, which is across the street from our Salinas Transit Center on Lincoln Avenue. So my overview is basically gonna kind of help provide some insight into how we're looking to manage this project, that will have serious impacts on our operations in and out of Salinas Transit Center. Next slide, please. So this is just an overview of what the construction project will look like. Oh, by the way, I have our safety manager Jared Augusta here to answer any questions to address any safety concerns, and Catherine Avila from Avila Construction, who is the project manager for this construction project on Lot 12. The building is it's going to be the construction project is a 3-story structure with underground parking, and it's going to be retail on the ground floor, residential, so it's mixed use. And this is going to be so if you're not familiar with the landscape over there by Salinas Transit Center, it's Lot 12. It's a surface parking lot, sometimes referred to as a JUR parking lot, and it's directly across the street from our Salinas Transit Center on Lincoln Avenue. Next slide, please. MSD, we formed a committee. It's called the LOS Committee, Lincoln Operations, Salinas Transit. Thank you, Michelle Overmeyer, for the name. Was that yours?
one of my.
Yeah,
uh,
it's
Privileges.
very,
you know, as I
very
do
clever.
committees.
Yeah, so our loss committee is composed of members from the planning department, including Michelle Overmeyer, Director of Planning, and Emma Patel, and also our scheduler, David Bilsker. Also from operations includes me and our coach operator, a coach operator representative, Anthony Gilchrist. We also have another planning associate, Natalie Flores, and also our risk and safety manager, security manager, Jared Augusta. Next slide, please. So this just gives you an overview of the construction scope. As I mentioned, they're scheduled to break ground later this summer. The project will span over 2 years. The immediate impacts is that the southbound lane on Lincoln Street will be closed for the duration of this project. And in an upcoming slide, I'll show you what that's going to look like and how that'll affect our services. Overall, throughout the 2 year time span, we expect 5 to 10 days of full closure on Lincoln Street, which will further impact our operations in and out of the center. These days are not consecutive days; they'll be sporadic throughout the entire 2 year span. And just some other impacts will be Lot 8, which is on Gabalon Street, Gabalon between Lincoln and Salinas Street. Will be used for material stage and equipment staging. So that will have some impacts to our operations. But we don't expect too much of an effect on what we do in and around the transit center. Notably, though, there's going to be partial westbound lane closure on Gabalon. Next slide, please. This is an overview of what our plan is. This is just kind of a flow chart. So effectively, right now, if you look at the upper 4 boxes there, that's where we are, is pre-planning in preparation for the construction project. As we move closer to breaking ground and active construction, we'll be more in the lower boxes there, the green boxes. So right now, we've been coordinating with Avila Construction to reduce our impacts, relocating, planning to relocate some of our bus bays, looking at the schedules, and ensuring that we have a safe and consistent service for our passengers. Next slide, please. So if you're not familiar with how our operations flow in and out of the center, this just gives you a brief overview of that. Of the vehicle flow into our transit center, through our transit center, and out of our transit center. If you pay particular attention to the upper left arrow from Lincoln Street that's turning left into Salinas Transit Center, that's going to be our most affected routes, which are basically our line 41 and 42 at Gate 5. And I'll get into what we're thinking for that. But this just we put this up here just to give you a representation of what our vehicle flow looks like. Next slide, please. Now, this slide that's overlaid with a broader picture of what the construction zone will look like. So lot 12 there is to the left, and you see Lincoln. The southbound side of Lincoln has the striped box that represents that will be closed for the construction site project. And you also note that the Gabalon Lot 8, I believe it's called, Lot 8 is used for construction and staging. Not represented in this slide is what we've been, what we're looking at. So we have some contingency gates that we are looking to implement on Salinas Street, and we're also looking at Central Avenue. Preliminary discussion with the city. Seems that we have no objection from the city on what our plans are. So we're hopeful that we will be able to manage this safely and maintain consistent and level of service and high quality service for our passengers in the area. We also have some contingency gates set that we will look to establish on Central Avenue. That will be, it may not be for the duration of the project, but in the event that we have some full lane closure on Lincoln Avenue, we may use some of those alternate gates on Central, but that's generally what we're thinking right now and what we're looking at. And we have our scheduler has looked at how these impacts will affect our rerouting and our timelines with that. And with that, next slide. That concludes my presentation. Remain for any questions here.
I have one.
Mhm.
Obviously, this is going to impact businesses and residents because of the area that it's in. What kind of information will be sent out to, and how far in advance will you be sending that? Since you're starting in the summer, how far in advance will you be notifying the resident or the public? I guess
Sure.
probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. We will be, because of the level of impacts that we're anticipating here, we're gonna be slowly messaging, as we get closer to the project, at least a couple months out, but then that messaging will ramp up as we get closer to construction.
Okay, when you say the summer, do you know? Because I mean, we're getting really close to the summer already. We're pushing into May here pretty soon, so.
So as far as the construction project goes,
Mhm.
we don't know what, we're being told late summer. I will,
So August.
I'll defer to Catherine if she wants to speak to that, but we expect late summer, towards the
Okay.
end of summer.
So unlike our surf project, we are not the.
Yeah.
We're not the project owner.
Mhm.
That would be Avila Construction, so it'd be more appropriate for you to direct those types of
Okay.
comments to them.
Okay.
We don't really have anything to do with the messaging or
Okay,
any of that.
okay.
We're impacted by the construction. We're not conducting the construction.
Understood. Okay,
Would you like?
yeah, sure. What is your name? I'm sorry.
Hi there, my name's Catherine Avila. I'm with Avila Construction. I'm the project applicant working on behalf of our client for this project. We're really excited about it. First of all, thank you just for taking that presentation. I know this is a heavy lift, but staff has been wonderful to work with so far, and we're working in conjunction with the City of Salinas staff as well, who's being very cooperative to try to get this project off the ground. So anyways, our anticipated start date would be right around September 1st, so actually very late summer, early fall timeline if all goes to plan. We're on track to submit our first application to the City of Salinas next week, early next week, and we'll follow with building permit docs. So we still have some paperwork to get in line with the city before we can really break ground on this one.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Yep.
much. And thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about that. Just-
No, because we've been building our own project for the
For
past
so long,
3
yeah.
years. It's understandable.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I apologize for not
No,
catching
thank you,
that.
Marcette. Mr. Emilio has a question.
Thank you. I keep hearing Lincoln Avenue. I live on Lincoln Avenue, but in Pacific Grove. But
It's not over there.
yeah, it's
No,
not over
No,
there.
it's in Salinas.
Well, I'm sure I'll heard it. I have a question in regards to, and maybe Miss Avila might be able to. The building construction, it says there's going to be upper level housing. Is there going to be any low income type of housing in that area, or
It's a good
Uh,
question.
I'll pass this
just
to
curious?
Good question.
Ms. Avila.
Sure, happy to answer. So the project consists of about 69 living units in total. We expect that around 8 of those will be low-income housing, various income distribution levels. So that's just in line with the City of Salinas's ordinance for inclusionary housing.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's great.
As you wish to.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Henderson.
Yes, sir.
On the last committee, I know Avila Construction is working with the City of Salinas. Do you have anybody that your committee is working with, an individual with the City of Salinas?
No, so at this point, Avila Construction is functionally our liaison between.
Well, but I'm focusing on the transportation here for the buses. I'm not thinking about the construction. What happens here has been my experience sometimes down the road, there's misunderstandings. So my question is, I know you have a great team. But is there a designated individual in the city of Salinas that's going to work with you? Like right now, you said you're gonna have to figure out a way how to go around this whole construction. So is there a person in the city of Salinas that you're working regarding the transportation, how it's going to change your needs?
I'll, as far as I'm aware, we do not. I'll have to speak with Michelle to see if we actually are directly in contact with folks over there in City of Salinas.
I'm pretty confident that Michelle is working with your traffic people.
Great.
Because first we have to develop the plan of what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Now that we have that, we'll be working with the city of Salinas because, in case we need red curb or other markings done in the short term, we will be working with your traffic department.
Yeah, because I think it's important,
Unfortunately, Michelle's not here to.
yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure that everything runs smooth for MST, because sometimes we tend to forget certain things. I mean, I'm talking about the city. But we want to make sure that it's smooth for all the people that we serve.
Absolutely. I'll just note that, we've provided a ton of feedback to Avila Construction, and they basically been advocating for us with the city of Salinas. And, as far as our experience has been so far, it's been very responsive. But I'll check in with Michelle to answer your question. Find an answer to your question directly.
Being that you're in charge and responsible for your area, how do you, as you're looking at these reports, how do you visualize it? I mean, how do you see it? How it's going to impact your project, your program?
Well, I'm an optimist, so it's gonna have significant impact. But I think, I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to manage it, and we want to be mindful to the passenger experience, not only just the operational experience, but the passenger experience too. So, we are considering multiple perspectives on this project and on the impacts to us and our services.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Marcette. Anyone else have any comments or questions? No? Okay. I'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that has a question regarding this? No one in chambers, no one online. So I'll close public comment. Okay, thank you, Marcette.
Thank you.
Very interesting. All right. Moving on. Oh my gosh, we're moving on.
We're moving on.
We are done. Okay, so there's nothing else. I will
Wow.
adjourn at 9:28
This is a
AM. This is a record. I know, right? Thank you.
28 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
Okay.